Behind me is our brew house and fermentation cellar. It's a 15-barrel system, and we make about 450 gallons of beer at a time. We start our process in the morning by first dumping bags of grain into the mash tun and mixing it with hot water. That grain is going to cook in the mash tun for an hour and a half at 156 degrees, and that's where we're converting starches and carbohydrates into fermentable sugars. So we separate the liquid from the grain, transfer the liquid over into the kettle, and that's also when we add hops. When all the liquid's removed from the mash tun, we have to remove the grain. We do that with a shovel, and we put it into big barrels, which is then given to a local dairy farmer, and he feeds it to his cows.
Our brew day ends with transferring all of our brew from the kettle through the heat exchanger and into our fermenter, where it will begin its fermentation.
Fermentation takes about 7 days for all the fermentable sugars to be converted to alcohol, and then we go through a conditioning process, which is another 7 days.
Now it's time to add the watermelon.
Give me a slice of that watermelon. You understand watermelon, man.
We buy our watermelons from Ford Produce Company, which is a vendor at the North Carolina Farmers Market. We get 420 pounds. It's about 30 watermelons.
Watermelon, man.
It's very important for quality control that I taste the watermelon when it comes in. And this particular batch of watermelon is delicious. Very sweet and a lot of fresh watermelon flavor that's going to shine through in the beer.
Water's red and juicy when you eat it. Do you understand watermelon, man?
Mark and I split up, cutting open the watermelon. My job is to essentially scoop out all of the insides. Blend them up. And then, of course, our wonderful assistant Danielle pours them into the kettle.
There's a certain level of finesse that Danielle provides to our beer making process. It is essential that Danielle is involved in our beer making process.
Great melons make great beer.
Watermelon.
We sterilize the watermelon before we add it to the beer. So we cook it in our kettle for 15 minutes at 170 degrees, and then we transfer it into the fermenter where it will soak for about another week. Once all that watermelon has settled to the bottom and we've removed it, that beer is ready to be transferred over into our bright beer tanks.
Get yourself a knife, woman, oh I'm telling. Cut your man a nice big slice of watermelon.
The alcohol content of the watermelon wheat is about 7%, which is actually really surprising for how light the beer is. And it's kind of surprising when you get to your 5th pint and realize that you've drank 5 beers that are sitting at 7% alcohol. Our watermelon packs a punch.
Watermelon, man.
I chose watermelon because it's a crop that we can get here in North Carolina, so we can support our local farmers market and our local farmers.
After all, who doesn't love great melons?
Give me a slice of your watermelon.